Anything that's close to your face is going to be bigger and wider, and anything far in the distance is definitely going to be smaller and shrink in size. But your horizon line normally stays the same if you're not moving. And the horizon line is your eye level. Again, I always say put a pencil in front of your eyes and the nose of your bridge, and that's normally where you'll find your horizon line. If you were drawing on paper or looking at a picture, you can see diagonals will lead to the horizon line. In fact, follow the table's edge, that diagonal, and that'll still point to a horizon line. Now, this is the camera's eye level. This is the horizon line with a 3-point perspective. And now I'm going to raise the camera up, high eye level, and it's going to look down. So my eye level, anything that would be close is be bigger and wider, but anything below gets smaller. It looks further in the distance. I like to think of it as a street cone or just an ice cream cone, if you will. So remember, there's always going to be a wide part and a small part of your vision. And right now I'm getting closer, so he's definitely in the wide part. I'm now going to raise the camera below, and now I'm going to raise the toy above. So my eye level, or the camera's eye level, is looking up. So the widest part is closest to the camera, and then the further I pull it away to the ceiling, it gets smaller, again like a street cone or an ice cream cone. And the reverse for falling on the ground, the closure would be bigger towards your eyes, and when it's on the floor, it's smaller. Now, this is the easiest way to imagine it, is a building. On the street level, when you're looking up, everything looks like they're getting more narrow in the top. Now, looking down, everything gets more narrowed at the bottom of the stairs. This is technically looking down, 3-point perspective, but that was a neutral, or I would say eye level light angle. So now I'm going to draw my horizon line, and as you can see, I put a page on the far right. And the reason that is because second vanishing point, usually you want it off the page so that in the center of your page, your main canvas, let's say, things aren't so sharp in edges. So you see me about to draw the point on the right and the left. The right one has the furthest vanishing point. When I say vanishing point, I always just think of the letter V. So all my lines from one point is going to radiate like a V. So I didn't speed up the video because I wanted you guys to definitely know that I find the horizon line very important. In every image you draw, it's good to have a horizon line. Some people, once you get so familiar with knowing how to imagine a horizon line on the page, they don't draw it. But since you're a beginner student, it's definitely important that you look for the horizon line in every photo you take or every movie still you pause on. And when you're drawing, definitely draw out that line. Now I'm going for my 3-point perspective, and you will notice that I'm using 1 inch as a guideline, so this way I can have a good distance between my 3-point vanishing lines. Now I am using hyperlapse here, so this way I can speed up the drawing. When you get really good at drawing, you don't need to do all of this. It's going to be second nature, kind of like writing your whole name instead of writing the ABCs before you remember how to write a word or a sentence. Now, you see me drawing another box. This is because I'm going to put something in the front, so closer to me, my eye line. But you see the horizon line, just like the Stitch toy? It never moves, but there's something in front of it. So if I was the Stitch toy, I'm going to be in that box in the front. Now, whatever's behind is going to be the distant Stitch toy. So in this case, the horizontal line is the furthest part. And I'm going to draw a bust of James Whistler. And if you notice my other video, you've seen the pictures of James Whistler, the bust from the Bronx Community College Hall of Fame area. And I decided I'm going to do the columns. Now I'm still sketching it out. I'm still going through the motion. Nothing is ever perfect, so things can get edited. Because I've been doing this a long time, it may seem like it's complicated but for me, I find it easy. It's just practice, and even if I make mistakes, I just erase and redo. But at this point, I'm just imagining everything in boxes before I decide to try to draw those busts and myself the way I did in the last two videos. Now you can see I'm not breaking the mold. I'm definitely trying to put the face facing the far right of the box, which is the side in this case. Always have a front, side, top, and bottom established, so this way you never get lost on where things are supposed to be. If you do not start thinking, hey, what's the front of the box? Think of a delivery box. It's going to have a logo. So the front of the box is the logo for me, let's say. But the side, which is where the head is turning, is definitely going to always stay the side. So always give yourself directionals of what's what so you don't forget. So in this case, I'm just slowly building up. Again, my reference image is not in view, but it's still next to me. And I did draw this a couple of times just to get some practice. I used contour drawing, I used gesture drawing, negative space, anything that I could use to help me technically build this, I used. Now reference image are great because side by side, I could also do side size. But in this case, the reference image was larger. So I'm focusing on units. So the unit of the box is 1. And you see that the box are stacked on each other. So I gave it 2 units, so this way I can build this bust. Now, if you think of units as just inches, then they're 2 box inches, okay? They're definitely not the same exact size, but for this example, just think of it as a unit. Now you can see that I did the circle for the head and I broke it down into 3. When you do perspective and 3-point perspective, the angles do get wonky. The bottom of the mouth will be wider, the eyes and the nose will be covered by each other, or I just say the nose will cover the eyes. So everything's a little bit more crunched up there, squished together I should say, but the idea still is the same, so this way you can place things properly. So it doesn't matter if it's a bus, if it's a person, if it's a cartoon. I like using the box to help me see where things should be. And in this case, I'm starting to draw my self-portrait. I'm doing a full circle so this way I can have a larger head. And then I'm using the units of measurement so I can build my body. Now again, I'm still using the same 2 images from the last video to draw my self-portrait. And I'm making this one a little bit more caricature, but the bottom line is I'm trying to draw myself or a person. For some of you, you're going to draw yourself, and I think some of you don't want to draw yourself, so I gave you the option to draw a celebrity instead in a place or draw a family member in a specific place. As long as you draw a person for your final, that's what I'm looking for. It can be in any space. A room, it can be a lunchroom, a library, a restaurant. I think someone did say Dave and Buster was a place that they wanted to draw themselves in. So that I've never really been there, but that'll be a cool location. I think they have games and stuff like that. So who knows, maybe a person drawing themselves shooting a ball or something. Whatever inspires you to create your self-portrait, you have until May 20 to submit it, okay? I'm using the same technique. I draw a circle and then I try to draw the shape, the V for the chin area. I divide the head into threes, and for the eyes, you can see that I also made that a division that is smaller. Now I'm looking for my contour outline, so this way, my contour lines, so this way I can place the features where I wish and curve the side of the cheeks the way I'm seeing it in my head, or reference image, as you can see. Now the angle of my face is definitely a little bit more diagonal, so I'm trying to focus on that, and the good thing is that I do have diagonal lines to help me remember, so I'm focusing on how everything should be positioned. Now again, it's okay if things don't match up exactly. If it doesn't look like a super perfect version of you, just give it a try, okay? You're learning how to draw, and these are advanced tips that the more you practice, the more you will improve. Now I usually go from big to small. When I get very into the details first, like as you see, I'm going into the eyes. That's me rushing everything, but from normal practice, it's good to draw the outer head, then slowly build into the inner features like the ears, nose, and mouth. I think at some point I do realize that the size of my printout image is the size that I really needed to draw on the paper. So I start using that as my sight size drawing method. But before I was just trying to eyeball it and make sure that I can put the features on my guidelines. So I think it comes out into an interesting version of myself. It's very fun and playful at the end. I still have to draw the columns for this one, which I'll be doing tomorrow. Uh, but yeah, you can put in as much as you want to represent a place that you enjoy or want to be at. Here I'm drawing two lines, one for the top of the nostrils and one for the bottom. Now, usually, as I say, the teardrop is going to be on the left and right of the septum is what it's called. The septum is the part that touches the cupid's bow, where your nose, there's the skin, and then there's the lip, so the cupid's bow. So the point that points down, for some people it goes really wide down or it goes pointed up. In my case, mine goes down, so I'm drawing two lines to make sure I see where it would go further below, and this way I can draw my nose a little better. Now the top where the eyebrows meet, that's the keystone, and I like drawing the keystone because it can show me that the front of my nose should be straight while everything else is a little bit diagonal, kind of like a pyramid pointing down. Then from there I look for the nostril wings, which for gesture drawing or capturing the nose, you can do circles, 3 circles instead of the lines that I did. So for the wings of the nose, you can do a circle on the left and the right, and then in the center you can do a circle for the septum, which is the part that touches the skin above your lips. So I got a general placement and I do like the way it is, and I just start moving along. At one point I do realize the eye is a little bit crooked, so I go back and make sure that I readjust. Oh, there it is, me readjusting. So you see me draw a straight line, or I should say a diagonal, because I'm trying to match up the corners of the eyes. Remember, your eyes are usually not crooked. So when we were drawing the skulls, some of you had eye sockets higher than the other. And I was trying to remind you to match them up, okay? There are things that we obviously know, but we look at it and then forget, hey, that's supposed to match. And it just takes trial and error to readjust. So again, all you need is yourself, an object, and in a room. That is the basic assignment. Now I haven't done it yet, but I am going to use my value scales to try to capture the grayscale going on in my printed image. For those of you that really have a hard time starting, what I would like you to do is to use the tracing method that I showed you in class so you can get the outlines, but definitely draw the inner parts by eyeballing your photo. I don't want you to trace everything. So you do have options, so this way you can get your project started and moving along. I will again bring tracing paper to class on Monday, my light box as well, and hopefully you have your printed images.